Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be our first video about the spoilers for Tales of Aria. Obviously, the cover girl, if you will, of the set is Lexi. And from her ability, you can tell she's an elemental ranger hero, similar to the way the characters from heroes from Monarch were shadow or light heroes. I was interested to see how they were going to execute this, but it looks like instead of making it a generic ranger hero and giving them something that gave them the particular keyword, they've just decided to make it that they get the elemental keyword instead of getting light or shadow, and then they have an ability which grants them the ability to play with specific elements in their deck. Still rather cool. Lexi likes to use ice and lightning, and she can have one or both in her deck. So she can play ranger cards, she can play lightning cards, she can play ice cards, she can play lightning ranger cards and ice ranger cards. More than likely, they're going to be something like arrows. But beyond that, I'm sure there's going to be other cards. Now, her ability, once per turn action, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it's a lightning card, your next attack this turn gains go again. If it's an ice card, create a frostbite token under target hero's control. Go again. So, if it's a lightning card, then obviously it's fast, so gains go again is not really a surprise there. It's the ice section that I want to talk about, the frostbite token. So I assume it's going to be something like seismic surge or something that lasts until the beginning of the next turn, of their next turn, and then pops. And frostbite is something detrimental. No telling what it is. If I were going to take a small guess, it would probably be that their cards may cost one more during the next turn. Although that could be too powerful. But it's definitely something controlling. I have a feeling that if Lexi is going to be usable in the new format, whatever it might be, that it's going to be more of a control deck using the ice cards for frostbite tokens than it will be the lightning quick lightning deck. I could be wrong, but frostbite is typically a negative, so take that what you will. So her ability is very similar to the skull cap. That lets you turn a face down card nostril face up, The only difference is you also get to opt one off that one. Um, Now, it'd be really cool to play both of them in the same deck if you had a way to go through multiple cards in your arsenal a turn, or better yet, if you could have multiple arsenals. Anyway, next we're going to talk about Shiver. Shiver is at least her common level bow. It's the token, one in the set, and also one in the starter, I assume, unless they change something. So Shiver is an elemental ranger weapon, bow, two-handed. Once per turn instant, pay 1. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal zone you control. If you do, choose 1. It gains +1 attack until end of turn, or it gains dominate until end of turn. So there's a couple of things that are interesting here. First of all, it's an instant ability, which kind of lets you reload during your opponent's turn, but it has to be an arrow card, right? Now, who knows? She might get an arrow attack. She might get an arrow card that plays as an instant. Who knows? Right now, there's not. Either ability, the +1 until end of turn or the dominate, is really good. So I think this common bow is already somewhat better than the common bow that Azalea has. Because +1 or dominate is fantastic. Now, the wording on this card is very specific. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal zone you control. Multiple arsenal zones? Sounds like a heck of a good time for a ranger. Now, you would specifically have to use this bow with it because neither Azalea nor either of her bows has this wording. So it would be almost an exclusive for Lexi, it sounds like. But that's very intriguing. I'd wondered if they would ever get to the point where they would go, okay, you have this piece of equipment, but if it leaves it gives you an extra arsenal slot, but if it's destroyed, you lose your extra arsenal slot and the card that's in there. And there's several other cards that has some interesting wording that's very similar. Command and Conquer is one of them. And the last card that was spoiled was Weave Lightning. Weave Lightning is a rare. Lightning action. This is the red version, or the 1 version. The next lightning or elemental attack action card you play this turn gains +3 attack. If it is fused, it gains Go Again. And then this has Go Again. So now this insinuates that there is either lightning cards, which we already know there's going to be some, and elemental attack actions cards. Now this may be future proofing. It may not be in this set specifically. But that's pretty powerful. It's the second line of text. If it's fused, it gains Go Again. we already know that Lexi can play two elements. She can play ice and she can play lightning. How those two play together is an interesting question. We know lightning likes to go fast, and we know ice wants to is usually something to slow down an opponent. So how they play together will be an interesting build. Very interested to see how sealed and draft play works with this set. It's already very intriguing. But the fused part, I've heard two thoughts of what fused could be. One of which was if you play a card of one element and then play a card of the second element after each other, that they would fuse together. I guess I've heard three, because I'd heard one where you got to play two of them at the same time and they fused. And then the other one, which to me seems like the most likely case, is when you go to play your attack or whatever card, and it's of one element, and you pitch the another element, then they fuse. And that one seems like the most likely scenario. From a design standpoint, that's really intriguing, because in a deck where half your deck is ice, or could be ice, and half your deck is lightning, and you pitch one to pay for the other, and it getting a bonus, sounds like fantastic fun. Now, getting all those pieces to work in a constructed environment, a sealed environment, sounds difficult, but it certainly is very rewarding if you can get it across. Now, I want to go back and say that Lexi Livewire was spoiled by DM Armada. Shiver was spoiled by Red Zone Rogue, and Weave Lightning was spoiled by Kitchen Table TCG. Each of those links are going to be in the description to those original videos, where you can also hear their thoughts of the cores. So now the Ranger looks cool. Let's see what the other two classes are. September 1st can't get here soon enough. So guys, leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, concerns, questions in the chat below. I will answer as many as I can. For those who have followed me over from Legend of the Five Rings, thank you. This game is fantastic, and I will enjoy talking about cards, strategy, theories, designs, and events going forward. Because even in Rathe, there's no escape from the tiger.